So the weather is getting a little more cooler now, thank God. I was talking to Tawny yesterday, and we went back to talking a few odd months ago. And the thing is that for years we had a fallout, and she used to be a heavy metal groupie. And at the time I was going through a breakup, the guy used to always tell me, I love you, but it was all deception back then. I remember I had my first serious job, and she worked at the movie theaters for the AMC, and she brought out a big book with all her different heavy metal guys she slept with, and different bands, different rival groupies, and her name's Tawny, so her dad liked heavy metal and all that, Van Halen, and she'd throw parties. And she had a more controlling personality. She's a Scorpio. I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. She's a water. They tend to control and run the show. She would throw the gatherings where Alexis would show up and crash the party. And I would hear a guy say, "Oh, I can't stand that chick." Or you'd hear some girls say, "I don't want that kind around here." Or because she would encourage group stuff and doing meth, the crispy lips, and her gay friends coming around. And thinking about, I wonder if we were male instead of female because we were definitely not the traditional group of friends. We were different, like our looks and everything. If we were male, say like Mayhem is a good like. She named her daughter Savannah after the porn star that committed suicide because she would have ups and downs when she was younger, suicidal feelings. It was my idea to name her first daughter Savannah after the porn star that used to hang around Polly Shore and eventually offed herself. But yeah, I would say Tawny is dead. I was Necro Butcher, the more observant bass player that has more critical thinker. And Euronymous was Alexis because everybody was all like, we don't need your kind around here. But Varg Vikernes was not even a part of the group. He was a part of One Man Burzum. And he's a sketchy behind the door kind of guy. He's a backdoor guy. You don't know what to think about Varg because he was like he would demonize Euronymous and really has no place to say that because he himself was a part of that whole culture and how it was. And I have to watch out talking ill about certain old friends because how am I any better than this person? Even though she was, smoking meth and hanging around and doing things darker, we weren't so much any better. We were bad as well. And have you ever betted somebody? Have you ever thought about betting somebody? Ever fantasized? Most people have, even if not acting on it. He had no place to really even criticize Your Honor, was demonizing him when really he himself had his issues and eventually his channel didn't make it for hate speech and yes, racist and lots of his religion, even though it's a popular thought to do whatever you want and think however you feel and speak your mind and, act on your violent side. And there's a side of all of us that's dark that we want to all act upon and we all want to just let out, but we criticize and tell ourselves not to do, like me being observant and critical, like the bass player who was smart enough to disappear before things downward spiral, like Alexis got all messed up doing meth and living in her car, and Tawny married and had 3 kids. That's surprising. And I was engaged and just ran off and disappeared and didn't marry, and I didn't marry. Well, that's smart too because divorce happens, but we were not traditional girls. We were odd, weird, different, likes metal and a mixture of different personalities, all of us with buckheads, but we were hanging out in the same group and knew of each other like in Imperial Beach, and there's a lot of skateboarding that goes in Imperial Beach and going to the bars and drinking, and we loved to drink Blue Moon beer and Mississippi mudslides and hang out and talk all hours of the night and spend the night most of the time during the week. And I was working for the aquarium, and I was a working girl, but we would go to concerts, and we would go all types of concerts. We did Kiss and Motley, and there was New York Dolls that played with them, I remember one time, and There were fun times, but there was a lot of ups and downs and clashes, and we were not the usual group of girls at the mall who poke around at the clothes stores at Forever 21. We were definitely different. We had our eccentric personalities, and Tawny is part Hispanic, and Alexis is like Cajun mixed and with green eyes. Like she has a different look, and I have dark. My hair is naturally actually brown, not red. People say, "Oh, she's a redhead." Alexis always associated, "Oh, I don't like redheads because my red hair. I dye it. I'm a brunette." Necro Butcher's hair is like a dirty blonde, blonde underneath brown. That's my natural hair color. And I'm observant and cautious because I also have a lot going on in my head, observing what goes on, and I could smell trouble from 100 miles away.